Yo, people, lateness is greatness. You already know what time it is. It's time for another stream. And I'm not going to lie to you, the Queen's speech was needed. Do you know what I'm saying? We missed her yesterday. She took a little nap. But I'm not going to lie, it was justified. That game was disgusting. It's not something I'm thinking about. How are you doing? How are you doing, Anita? You all good?
I'm good, man. I feel refreshed. I feel alive. I feel good. I'm good. Listen, by the way, guys, you guys are ruthless, yeah? Whoever you people that came onto the other stream that I was doing, and you came to come and pull, they literally came to pull my ear and told me, yeah, get back to where you came from. I was like, guys, no, honestly, I took a long nap. It was meant to be 10 minutes, but
turned into an hour.
Turned into an hour, man. Like I'm not even like I'm sorry to you, but Chelsea, nah, I ain't sorry for them, man. Them man bored the hell out of me, and they just frustrated me. I needed to sleep. After was that,
was it proper spam in the chat? Because you told me about that. I was like, really? Was it that deep?
Everybody goes to the chat. Bam! I was like, oh, Anita, get back on MAH. Anita, what are you doing here? Anita, what are you doing? Anita, MAH is waiting for you. Anita, I've been in the stream about you. Anita, I was like,
oh man. Well, listen, people, we got the Queen's speech here now, live and direct. And I mean, listen, we're going to get into a lot of things in terms of what's been going on the last 24 hours in terms of reaction to maybe the result, the performance, the way that we've been playing in the last fixture. And there's been a lot of slander on the TL for Jorginho, for Kovacic. There's been a lot of respite and bite back on Mason Mount, you know, for his player of the year and the standards that Chelsea people are talking about right now. So we're going to discuss all of that afterwards. But we have to start with the Eden Hazard link. And this all came from, I'm not sure the report, I don't really know the level of credibility because it's not someone that I know in terms of the reporter, but this all started with the link on, obviously he's transfer listed at Real Madrid, or they're looking to ship him out, him and Bale, and he probably would favour coming to Chelsea as his first resort in terms of that. Now, I don't know if we're going to disagree on this, but just that link in general, how do you feel about that? Just off the top, Eden Hazard back at Chelsea.
Listen, I don't want to fight today. I really don't. I'm really hoping we're on the same page on this. Me personally, I don't know what the big deal is. Like, I want him to come back. Let him come home. I don't mind. Oh, Matisse, no! Matisse, no! I want him to come back. No, man, I didn't want to come and fight. I've had 24 hours. I've had peaceful 24. Nah. Listen, I'm telling you, like, I want him to come back. Bring him back home. He's not happy at Real Madrid. And to be fair, his injuries, they've mounted quite a lot. And if anyone can do with Eden Hazard getting injured, it's us. No? Chelsea can do. We've got the medical team who know him. We've got players here who love him, fans who absolutely adore him. Why not bring him back? I don't see any problem in bringing him back. It's not like we're spoiled for choice with left wingers. We're not.
Okay, I like the fact that we're going to disagree on this because that means this is going to be a balanced debate. It's going to be a good stream for everybody watching. They're going to get, you know, people, because the chat seemed pretty split. A lot of people are saying 4. There's some against. I think it will probably be more 4. So probably 60-40 split at the bare minimum. Maybe even 65-4. Now, for me personally, it's not that I don't like, obviously I'd like to see him back. People make that comparison with Drogba in 2015, right? When he came back. But the circumstances are not the same. When Drogba came back, he was like very clearly the backup striker. I'm not sure if he was even third choice or second choice, but he definitely wasn't first because we had Diego Costa. I think we might have had Remy as well. Remy, and then it was Drogba. Was it like that?
Did we not still have Torres at that time as well?
Nah, because we won the title when Drogba came back. So Torres definitely wasn't involved because he didn't win a Premier League here. I feel like we had Diego Costa, Loic Remy, and then Didier Drogba, right? And Drogba was kind of like the motivational speaker behind the scenes on the bench. He had his couple, you know, run-outs every now and then where he scored the goal at Old Trafford when we had, I think, an injury to Costa and whatnot. But he didn't really play. You know what I mean? He was more there for same role as John Terry, maybe in the win as well under Conte, not really starting in the back three, behind the scenes, giving talks, that kind of stuff, right? So that comparison for me, if Hazard was at the end of his career and he wasn't going to be on huge wages and, you know, he was like maybe 33, 34, and that would make sense to me. Cool, bring him back. But you need to have someone who's in their prime, world class, like Diego Costa, who you can give the responsibility to. Now, a lot of people keep saying, we bring Hazard back, he's our best attacker. That's fantastic. That doesn't mean that that is a good enough deal. It just means that, okay, the standards are really low right now. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like when people say Pulisic is our best attacker right now, so he can't get any criticism. That's fine. It's fine that he's our best attacker, but he's not consistent and he's got fitness issues.
Best attacker to you, by the way.
And it's the same issue with Eden Hazard. What I would like personally is someone in their prime and on form to come back into this team. Let me ask you this, Anita. If he wasn't Eden Hazard, right, and he was just a normal guy, and he had the career he had, but then he went to Real Madrid for 2 seasons with fitness issues and out of form, would you still ask for him to come back?
The problem with that question, Matisse, is, the reason why there's a debate is because it's Eden Hazard. And you're asking me if it wasn't him, blah, 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 blah. No, I wouldn't, because that person would not have had a proven track record with my club. The fact that Eden Hazard has such a great proven track record with Chelsea is the reason why I can stand on 2 legs and boldly say, I want him back at the club. Eden Hazard is not going to come in and he's not going to be our first choice left winger. Do you understand? He's not going to be our first choice left winger. Let's keep it real. Werner's probably going to be playing off left next season. That's probably going to be our destiny. Then we have Callum Hudson-Odoi, who, if he does stay, Tuchel has said that, you know, he looks like he's better on the left wing, so he might accommodate Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left wing as well. And by the way, someone in the chat just mentioned it. Drogba was the backup. So if Drogba can be a backup striker, Eden Hazard can be a backup left winger. I don't see any problem with it. He's not going to come in and he's not going to start off the bat. I'll tell you that for free. He's not going to start off the bat. He needs to get fit. We need to evaluate his injuries. And if we are being real, if he does come in, he is the best attacker that we have. If we're keeping it real, he's the best.
I don't even disagree.
There we go. So then what's the problem with bringing him back? Because of the injuries.
The problem is that this team has got too many inconsistent and fitness issue players. And for me, if you're going to see the best of Eden Hazard, he needs to be consistently fit. Now, a lot of people can blame it on Real Madrid medics and they can say, well, Eden Hazard was fit at Chelsea, so why would he not be fit when he comes back? And that's all well and good. I'm not even disagreeing with that. But the evidence does not state in the last 2 years that he would come back and be fit. First of all, with Eden Hazard, you have the whole managing your body situation. We know a couple of times at Chelsea he was overweight. That's not a lie. That's just reported. That's fact.
True.
He liked a burger in the summer. You know, he liked to enjoy himself. Do you know what I'm saying? And he went to Real Madrid overweight as well. So I'm not saying the Real Madrid medics are completely not at fault. I'm sure there's something there to it because he went and got maybe a new physio from Belgium or whatever. Cool. But he has not always been the most serious in terms of taking care of himself in the off season, right? So he has to take some responsibility for that. And then the other side of that, which is not his fault, is referees did not protect him when he was in the Premier League. He got hacked down. And for a player like that, now to be hacked down all those years, and then he starts having injury problems, it's not really a surprise, right? Yeah. If he comes back now to this league, which is very physical, it will hack you down. Do you know what I'm saying? Ben Mee from Burnley, all these kind of guys. How are we gonna do you guys really feel like he's gonna be consistently fit, or are you just kind of hoping?
My problem with that now, is that everyone talks about this consistently fit problem, but when it was Pulisic, no one had an issue. Nobody had a problem. Why? Because he's 21. No one has a problem because he's young. Eden Hazard is proven in the Premier League, a proven player. Pulisic hasn't proven shit. People can tell me, oh, he dragged us to 4th. Pulisic last season, he had about 5 good games under his belt. And it all came from after flipping lockdown. Okay, 1 game where he had a hat-trick against. Who was it that he had a hat-trick against earlier in the season, last season? Like, everyone needs to get off the Pulisic train, first of all. And once we start realizing that there's going to be the same situation that we're having with Pulisic right now, but with a much better attacker, then everyone can start thinking straight. Because when you deep it, Hazard being this injury-prone person, he's basically what Pulisic is right now, right?
But that's my issue. I would like someone who's consistently fit and is in their prime and on form. And Hazard doesn't tick any of those boxes.
Then, in my opinion, we need to get rid of Pulisic too. Pulisic gotta go. Because that guy is inconsistent. That guy is never fit, and he's only, 22? His prime has come and gone. He's inconsistent. He's not fit.
You can't say his prime's come and gone.
Horrible season. And I'm so sick and tired of it now. Everyone can say I have an agenda. I don't care anymore. He's had a horrible season. So if Eden Hazard was to come in and Pulisic was to go out, I'm taking that easily, because like we both just agreed, Eden Hazard comes in, he's automatically our best attacker that we've got. So
if
what's the point of keeping Pulisic?
If he's fit and firing, which he hasn't been for 2 seasons. This is not a few months of bad form from Eden Hazard. He has not been firing since he left Chelsea in 2019 under Sarri. So Pulisic, to just expect him to come back now and turn it back on, I don't think it works like that for you to just switch it on and switch it off like that.
I personally think if we look at the way Real Madrid plays, and we look at the way we've played with Eden Hazard, it's completely different. Eden Hazard is our talisman, right? Eden Hazard knows the Premier League. He's been at the Premier League for how many years? What, 7 years being at the Premier League? I don't think he can just switch off how he used to play in the Premier League and then come back and then play like shit. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he can come back and he can fit right in. The only thing stopping Eden Hazard are the injuries. That's the only thing here. It's not his talent. It's not nothing, because he's still every time he plays for Real Madrid, he's still creating chances. When he came back from injury, he created
Benzema carries that attack though this season.
Pardon?
And we saw that Benzema carries that Real Madrid attack, and we saw that when we played them. Like Hazard wasn't the big issue at Stamford Bridge. He wasn't. Yeah. It was Benzema, and it was the same in the first leg. Only Benzema was the guy operating in that team, and it was the same story as the whole season. So even though we built it up as Chelsea fans, we said, "Oh, Eden Hazard's coming home, and it's a homecoming dance and whatever. He's gonna do this, do that." He didn't do anything. Let's keep it a buck. Aspie had him on ropes.
100% he didn't do anything. But the thing is, right, how I look at things, people got to remember the psychological situation of this whole Eden Hazard coming home. Eden Hazard was unhappy at Real Madrid. It has now been voiced, apparently, according to sources, that he's unhappy at Real Madrid, and he has been unhappy for a long time, right? If he's coming back home, you saw him even laughing with the players at the end. People don't recognize this guy is a human being. Playing for a club, that's not making you happy. It's going to be hard to come to a place where you are usually happy and try to be the star of the show. That comes with any footballer that respects their older club, especially when they're not happy at the current club that they're at. Mentally, it's going to take a toll on you. So when I look at that match and how Eden Hazard played in that match, I'm not gonna put that match as something that I should look at when I'm looking at Eden Hazard. I'm not gonna do that, because when Eden Hazard came back from injury for Real Madrid, that first match he came back, he created the most chances, and I think he only played like half an hour. And he created.
Who is it against? Who is it against?
I can't remember, but it was in La Liga though. It was another La Liga team, which is fair enough. But he came on and he created the most chances. That's something to look at there in isolation. He's still capable of creating chances. He's still capable of scoring goals, even though that goal may have been a fluke, as some may call it. I can't remember who it was, but it was meant to be It was a Toni Kroos shot, and then Eden Hazard got the flick on. He still scored. You know, he's still capable of finding the net. He's still capable of creating chances. And that's something that we need right now. We need a player. We've been dying for a player who can come on and create chances. No, I'm not saying Eden Hazard is going to start. I'm just saying, if we can accept Pulisic for being so injury prone, how can we not accept Eden Hazard for coming into Stamford Bridge and being that injury prone player, but still knowing that he will deliver for us? How can we not do that? And I understand that there may be skepticism around the whole Eden Hazard hasn't delivered for 2 years at Real Madrid. However, when people put mentality into situations, your mentality, your confidence, everything coming into it, we will see another Eden Hazard, especially when he's welcomed at home. So that's why I say I will not mind Eden Hazard coming in, not as a starting winger, but if he can come in off the bench, be that person that makes a difference for half an hour, I'm there.
All right, I'm gonna read a couple chats, and then I'm gonna counter some of those for me. But won't say no, but it's a risky. I've got to do it, man, because it's too much to disagree with. I'm sorry. Won't say no, but it's risky. The Real Madrid doctor said one more injury and he's done with football. Rather get someone like Sancho, Grealish, or João Felix. I like 2 of the names on that list personally. Alex. Luis Suarez just proved a fact to this world yesterday that you cannot write off any world-class talent. Hazard is just 30. Come on. That comparison doesn't really work for me, because Suarez was never having massive injury issues like this. The only thing that happened with Suarez is that Barcelona just disrespected him, didn't rate him, and thought that they could do better. They didn't even give him a goodbye. And he said, all right, cool, bun you, man. I'm going to go and prove you wrong. Suarez has not had anything anywhere near the fitness issues that Eden Hazard has. Now, all right, so just to go back to what you said there about the impact he can make. I would agree with you, right? If we had world-class attackers in the team that were consistent, so a Diego Costa, a Drogba come back. If we already had the 11 and we were looking for players now under that, then I would agree with you, because impact off the bench, you just said he's not going to be a consistent starter. Cool. But we actually need a consistent starter. So what we need, for me, is a proven world-class or consistent or on-form winger. That's what we need, because we've just stated that our attackers this season have been moving mad. We don't know if we did the right transfer business in signing Ziyech, because it seems like a lot of people are willing to let go of Ziyech for Eden Hazard. Because I'm going to ask you guys in the chat soon, who would you get rid of? Because you have to get rid of someone. You're not going to bring him in and not get rid of any of the attacking midfielders. So I'm going to go through that in a minute. So you have to accept that we failed in our transfer business last summer if we're going to now bring in another creator on top of the Ziyech, Havertz, and Pulisic that we signed in the last 2 summers in terms of creators. So that's something you've got to digest as a fan base. You have to accept that something's gone wrong there, because we shouldn't have to sign another creator, in my opinion. We've created a lot of chances. We should just be looking at a striker.
Why is it sunny where you are? Sorry.
I'm just going to, it's mad sunny. I
Why
don't
is
know.
it sunny?
I don't know. I don't know.
It is 8:30 p.m. It is
dark
dark where I am.
I don't
Look, if I turn off my light, you don't see me.
I don't know.
Sorry, keep going. Sorry.
TB says, I love Hazard, but he is done. Pulisic will be another De Bruyne or Salah if we let him go. Prime age is 25 to 29 usually. One more run with CPT to rate. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I feel about what you just said now? How we need to buy someone who can come in and, you know, make an impact straight away and, you know, be that starter. I hear it. And I think that's definitely something we need to focus on. However, I don't see any reason why we can't do both. You know, I don't see any reason why we can't get an Eden Hazard for, I think if they're asking for 40 million at the moment, apparently, allegedly anyway, I don't see why we can't get Eden Hazard 40 million and get a starter as well. I don't see any reason.
So you want to get 2 wingers?
Yeah, we're going to need it.
That's
100%.
That's mad.
You think that's mad?
Do you know what it is with me, right? I think the club, to sell a player that you brought in already you've got the player coming in from last summer, to sell them in the next summer is very unlikely from this club. Usually they hold, you know, it's an investment, right? Usually they sit tight and see if their investment is going to prove to be correct or wrong, and they'll actually hold out quite a while and see what pans out. Similar with Kepa. You know, he didn't have a great season, but they're going to probably hold out and see what they can do there because he's quite expensive and whatnot. Now, I've always said that Ziyech doesn't have that same shelf life in terms of, he didn't cost a lot. He only cost like 34 million. So he's actually not going to be hard to get your money back from that. So it's not going to take much for the club to say, okay, Ziyech, you're in your prime, you're not delivering. You're meant to be an impact player who was meant to be a starter in this team. I've already said on my last stream, I don't think Ziyech is this type of player that can, you know, come in here and there and make impacts. I think he needs to be a key player. He needs to have a lot of touches on the ball. The team needs to revolve around him like it did at Ajax. And he needs to feel like he's got a free role, and then he can build up his consistency over games. I don't think Ziyech can just be in and out the team 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, and really be what the Ziyech that we asked for. But when it comes to Hazard, I just think, first of all, I love everybody's, you know, love for Hazard. It's very clear this fan base has got a very big love for Hazard, more than I've seen with any of the other legends. Maybe it's just the age range on Twitter or whatever. But I saw Mandem shouting "Fat Frank" in it, so that's another part I'm going to come into this. It's all nice for everybody to be lovey-dovey with Hazard, but if Hazard comes in and doesn't deliver the goods, I wouldn't be surprised if this fan base turn on him. This fan base is capable of anything, and I feel like sometimes we get too selfish as Chelsea fans. We wanted Lampard back too early when he wasn't really ready. Did a good first season. Then he started getting, you know, a bit of online abuse and, you know, name calling and whatnot. There was a little bit of lack of respect there. And then he's out the door sacked. Eden Hazard comes back. Everybody loves it. He probably doesn't deliver to the heights that everybody's building up in their head, because in my opinion, when you go off form for 2 years with injury issues and then come back into the most physical league in the world, that is very unlikely that that's going to run. And people will make the Gareth Bale example, right? Gareth Bale, if we're being honest, he didn't have a great season for most of it. Now, you can take his statistics in isolation and be like, oh, that doesn't look too bad. But the narrative on Gareth Bale mid-season was that he was a flop, he was a bust, he's playing golf, doesn't really care, wants to go back. You know what I mean? Not extending his stay. The quotes came out, whatnot. Then he goes and has a couple good games, 3-4 good games where he gets goals in clusters, and then you can read off his stats at the end of the season and tell me something different. But at the end of the day, Tottenham didn't progress. The Bale, Son, Harry Kane front three didn't work. It just didn't. Now, if you want Chelsea to catch up to Man City, do you not need to make sure you get a world-class, proven, world-class, on form, consistently fit winger to take us to the next level? That's what I'm asking here. Is Hazard going to take us to the next level, or is he going to come in and do decent? And when he's fit and gets a consistent run of games, he can be the Hazard we love. Then he gets injured, and then we're back to square one where we have no consistency in our team again. That's what I'm saying. Because we're trying to go to the next level. That's what I'm hoping for. So if you're going to sell a winger, which you're going to have to, what's the point in bringing in someone who's probably going to last 1-2 years max, and then you've got to go again with that same problem? Instead of bringing in a Jadon Sancho, who I did go very hard for last Christmas, who, look, I know the age thing, people will say, oh, well, we've already got loads of young players, but at least you're going to have him for 5, 6, 7 years, and he's playing at a top level, and he's on form.
But the thing is, right, I'm not even opposing getting Jadon Sancho. I think Jadon Sancho should be the first person on our list. Jadon Sancho needs to be the first person on the list. However, I'm looking at where these wingers play, right? When it comes to left wingers, we don't have any. So what left winger would you want to buy?
I would get Jack Grealish for him as well.
Okay.
You don't rate Jack Grealish?
I've never said I don't rate Jack Grealish.
So what was the face?
I honestly don't have a comment. I don't have a comment. I don't have a comment. I'm not going to say nothing that can incriminate me, but okay.
You know what?
If Jack Grealish is the person you want to be your left winger, any natural left wingers by any chance? No?
I think for me, Sancho or Grealish, those would be my top two.
Sancho does not play on the left. He's not a left winger.
Well, then he can go on the right. But for me,
and that's the problem. He goes on the right, and then
so
right
it doesn't matter where they go. If they go on the right or the left, it doesn't matter. Because we ain't got right now. No,
it matters. It matters. Because Pulisic, originally a right winger, he can play on the left. Fair. Does he play well at the moment on either side? No, he does not. So Pulisic already, he's one winger that I cannot rely on. Cool. Ziyech, barely a winger. Cool. Let's take him out of there too. Who's left?
Well, it really depends on the formation, isn't it? It depends on the formation. But I'm surprised you wouldn't take Grealish.
In front.
I'm surprised you wouldn't take Grealish when Grealish has been consistently fit in an Aston Villa team. I know you, but you're not saying. Why are you not saying anything? Because Grealish.
I didn't say I won't take Grealish.
So this team already creates chances, right? But maybe you guys are saying that we need to create more high quality chances, right? Grealish has been up near the top of of creating chances for the last 2 seasons, 3 seasons for Aston Villa. For Aston Villa, a team that are mid-table, yeah. So
Aston Villa.
And again, he's he plays in a similar style. Why would that be an issue? I don't understand. Because he's in his prime. He's got Premier League experience. The same thing that you guys said about Hazard having Premier League experience. Grealish has Premier League experience. It's just that Grealish is currently fully fit and in his prime, as Hazard is not. And so I think Grealish could come and start in this team as long as you get a world-class striker. No?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Is it because of what happened at the weekend? You don't like him?
No. Not even. I'm a Grealish fan. I'm a fan of Grealish, but boy, I personally, I wouldn't get him. But that's just me personally. I have no qualms with Grealish. I think he's very talented. He's a very good footballer, 100%. But I'm just gonna end that there. Someone in the comments just said Rafinha from Leeds, and it's really gonna piss me off because I've been having this fight with Chelsea fans for quite a while now. Yeah. Why people want Rafinha from Leeds is beyond me. So if you possibly could let me know.
I'm not too
maybe
sure.
I could understand.
I don't think that would be the move for me. I think he's a nice player. He's done a good season, but I'd want to see more evidence in this league. He's only had 1 year.
Thank
you.
You.
Young player in Sancho. If you want to go down that route and you're replacing a Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi, then you go Sancho. If you want Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi to keep developing and you want someone in their prime to improve the team right now for the impact now to start, for me, it's Grealish. Those are my top 2 options. I honestly wouldn't. I'm not gonna go too far outside of that for me, possibly.
Okay, well, we can get Grealish and we can get Sancho and we can still get Eden Hazard.
You're playing FIFA, fam. You're playing. All right.
But the thing is, it's true because I keep saying, how many quality wingers do we have right now at Chelsea? No one like Ziyech. Ziyech hasn't delivered for us, and that hurts me to say it. No one really fucks with Ziyech at the moment, and I'm kind of slying one of them. He hasn't delivered for us. He has shown nothing to let me say that next season this guy could be starting right wing for us. Pulisic also hasn't really delivered. Pulisic also hasn't really delivered for us. He has shown me nothing to say that guy could be starting right wing next season either. Callum Hudson-Odoi, he hasn't had time to deliver for us. He has not shown me anything that can say that he can start for us on the wing next season either. Werner's probably the only person that can start as on a wing next season. And that's the sad thing about it. So we need more than just 1 or 2 wingers, in my opinion. We need to sell Ziyech, sell Pulisic, which is probably not going to happen, and get other wingers in. And if we can get Eden Hazard in, Eden Hazard is a Premier League proven player that people love to just throw about. He's a Premier League proven player that doesn't have to start.
But this is not this. This is my point. I don't know how this is in block capitals. Why I would take Grealish over Hazard. Because Hazard hasn't been performing for the last 2 years, and Grealish has been performing for the last 2 years. I feel like people are so wrapped up in Hazard in a Chelsea kit, they've forgotten. Have you guys not been watching Eden Hazard for the last 2 years, or is it just me? I feel like you, man.
Hazard's played like 30 games in the last 2 years, so it's been difficult.
Exactly, but I feel like people are forgetting the Hazard that has been around for the last 2 years. I'm not talking about 2 months. I'm talking about 2 years. So I don't understand the block capitals and the questioning. I'm taking sentiment and emotion out of this. And I'm saying if there's a winger that's not been on form for 2 years coming into a team, plus injury issues, into a team that needs a world-class informed player with confidence now, I'm taking Grealish because Grealish is in form. He's proven himself in the Premier League in a very much average Premier League table team. He's been creating chances, which is what you guys want.
But then I don't get why.
Do you know what I'm saying? He's got the same aesthetics. Man just said they want aesthetics to take it off Salah and De Bruyne. All right, cool. Grealish has got your aesthetics. So I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm confused. Now, let's move on, right? Because obviously priorities are important here as well. So this is why, again, Hazard is not even anywhere near top of my list because, first of all, Hazard, he's on like 400,000 a week. So that needs to be discussed in terms of, because everybody's throwing around this word cheap. I think Real Madrid bought him off of us for 130 or 40 million in terms of the add-ons. Everything included was that was the package. Yeah. So how much of a loss are they willing to take? I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be below 50 million personally. Now, 50 million.
I think they've valued him at 43 million. Wait, hold on.
Is that confirmed? Yeah. Proper source?
Hold on. Let me just try and find it again, but keep going.
Because and then Hazard's going to have to take a massive wage deduction, right? Massive. Now, again, I'm sure he would be open to taking a deduction. How big, I don't know, because he's going to have to take a huge one because no one should be paying him the money he's on right now for the performance you're getting out of him. Now, what do you think is a priority in this team in terms of just summer targets anyway? Because that's where you divide up the money and you put your money in certain areas and you say what's the priority and what's not. Would you say strikers the main priority? Because some people are saying a creator to create better quality chances so we can score goals that way. Or would you say we need a striker first?
By the way, it's looking like it's 50 million euros. Just sorry about that, but a lot of sources are saying 50 million euros, but they're Spanish sources anyway, so I don't know how reliable that is. But yeah, that's roughly about 33 million pounds. But yeah, of course, like our main focus is a striker anyway. Like when we talk about what Chelsea needs right now, we create all the chances, half chances or whatever people want to belittle it to whenever it's Mason Mount creating those chances. But anyway, we'll talk about that another day.
We'll get onto that.
Another day. But anyway, we're creating these chances and we're not burying them, and that's been the biggest problem. If we have a striker that's clinical in front of goal, then yeah, that will solve pretty much 3/4 of our problem. That's the main target. And if we get a striker and we get just one winger, and even if it's not Eden Hazard, we get a striker, one winger, maybe a DM, I'm very happy with our window. Those are the 3 things that should be a priority. Striker being the first thing, a DM being the second, and a winger being the third.
I would agree with that. I like the way our centre backs look, to be honest. If we're keeping the same formation, I like the way our centre backs have been playing in them. I don't really see a reason to change it. This defensive record has been really good. Alex says Grealish could turn out to be like Ross. They are good players, but proven nothing. There are many such good players out there, but we need next level ones. Again, I'm going to disagree with you because Grealish has been putting out way better statistics than Ross was when he was getting his hype. And on top of that, I think he is in terms of the way that he's playing in that team. He's in a worse team that Ross was in, and also
Everton?
That Everton team had good players. He was playing with Lukaku, Ross Barkley. Don't forget that. Grealish is playing with Ollie Watkins. I like Watkins.
Don't disrespect Watkins.
I'm not disrespecting.
Don't do that, man.
The Lukaku at Everton is better than Ollie Watkins. But also, what did Ross have again? What did Ross have when we signed him for 15 million? Why was he so cheap? Injury issues. Swear down, did he not have injury issues?
No, he did.
Fair play. So what did I just say about the injury issues? I just said this with Eden Hazard. So you've tried to make this a Grealish thing, and it's actually gone back in your face to a Hazard thing. You see how I'm just spun that?
What was Grealish's injury that he just had?
Huh?
Grealish's injury. What did he just have?
Grealish is only...
I know. I'm just asking. He was out for a while, but I just want to know.
He had one injury, but it wasn't consistent injuries. He's only just had that one injury. Grealish's lower half, you can see how developed it is in comparison to maybe a Pulisic, whose lower half you can maybe see how he could pick up his injuries. I'm just looking at the bare basics. I'm not a physiotherapist.
So he had a calf injury and a shin bone injury this season.
Yeah, but Barkley had like an ACL or something. I don't even know what.
He had a calf injury last season. I'm starting to see a pattern. I'm just putting that out there, you know.
You're trying it.
Listen, all I'm saying is, injury records build from something, and there's always that reoccurring thing. And it starts off with one calf injury, then it starts off with a second calf injury. All of a sudden, the calf starts affecting the shin bone, which is now the shin bone injury just come back from.
Listen, all I'm saying, and people are saying it's going to cost more money. 100% it's going to cost more money. Why?
Yeah, Grealish will cost cheese.
He's the better and bigger asset right now.
Yeah,
it's just facts. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the guy who is the better and bigger asset right now in terms of what he's bringing to the pitch is going to cost more money. That is why Hazard is cheaper, because he hasn't been performing for the last 2 years. Otherwise, he would be expensive. I personally think he's ready to take that next step. In my opinion, Grealish ready to take the next step. Says Zion, he's elite. I agree with you. I think if you're getting a winger, and by the way, like me and Anita just agreed, that would be third. That would be third in the priority list. Because, and the reason why I say this again, people are getting very annoyed with our wingers and attackers. Cool. I personally think if you get a striker, I think Kai Havertz, he's meant to be a creator. He's meant to be the attacking midfielder in this team. That's what we signed him for Bayer Leverkusen. Generational talent. So I'm bagging on him next season to improve, right? Who else have we got? Well, Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi. We're gonna separate those two because they've been at the club for more than one season. Ziyech, I didn't want Ziyech, but now that Ziyech is here, I'm patient enough to give him the second season personally. Because I have that rule in my head. I think Ziyech should improve next season, right? He hasn't had a full season. He didn't even play too much football before this season started as well, because I think the Dutch league ended earlier. And he had a couple injury issues. I'm being very, very nice about it. Yes, I know a lot of people are not that patient anymore with Ziyech. But this is coming from someone who didn't even want Ziyech. I wanted Sancho. I'm willing to give Ziyech the next summer. We signed a lot of players in the last couple of summers that were meant to be chance creation. And under Tuchel, we've created a lot of chances. We saw that in so many games. We see that in the West Ham away game. Saw that Real Madrid at home. I can go off. So many games we've created chances. I don't think creating chances is our main issue. Taking the chances. And yes, the wingers need to take the chances as well because they're part of that. But the striker is the priority here. They're the guys where the chances really should fall to. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I see it. Let's see here. Striker is crucial, as you both state. Big up, guys. Let's put this out there, because this is another thing that's been talked about of Hazard in relation to the Drogba thing. Before we move on to a few other things that have been discussed, people are saying if he comes in, he's going to be good. Like he's gonna help improve the players around him in terms of like your Pulisic, your Hudson-Odois.
I think he will.
You think he will do that?
100%. And you gotta also remember there's talent is something that you cannot take away from a player. Talent, class, all of that, you can't take that away from a player. So when it comes to a player that can, instill his craft into other players and other players can learn from him, Eden Hazard is one of them. The same way when Drogba came in, that's what he was there for too, to like instill his talent and to, hype up the team and, what team rapport and all of that shit,
Yeah.
Like that's what he came in for as well. So Eden Hazard will have such a good impact on the likes of Pulisic. And let's keep it G. Pulisic even said that he watches Eden Hazard videos anyway. And, a lot of Chelsea fans compare Pulisic to Eden Hazard. So why can't we get Eden Hazard in to help nurture this Christian Pulisic that everyone loves into becoming that finished product? I don't see any reason why not. I think he comes in and he helps our youngsters immediately. Even Callum Hudson-Odoi wasn't before he left. Odoi was calling him the magician. Like he used to help out Odoi a lot as well, and him and Odoi had a good relationship also. So that would be nice to see again next season.
Yeah. Rodrigo says, I feel like Ziyech will ball in the final. I personally don't think he'll start in the final, but we'll see what happens. That's just my opinion. I don't think he will. When
he can come in off the bench. Myself, how do you dismiss him like that?
No, but listen, like he hasn't been great. Do you know what I mean? Like he's one of the. Listen, I just think in that final you're gonna need everybody on their A game pulling in the right direction, at least from a passion, desire perspective. Do you know what I'm saying? And because he's not giving me the consistent quality, and then off the ball as well, he was looking a bit lazy against Man City. I just personally don't see it. Now, oh my God, stop with the.
I don't know which match that you thought that Ziyech was being lazy.
Stop with the Hazard thing. That was kind of the main.
Isn't that the title?
He's linked with us. Well, he probably wants to return home, so that's why the Hazard thing's been brought up, right? Now, me personally, I know Hazard didn't train the best behind the scenes, so I don't know about all of this improving these guys on the pitch. He'll improve them. I don't know if they'll learn stuff from him behind the scenes too much, because I don't know how he is. I know, seriously, because in training he was very chill. Everybody said that he didn't train hard, so I don't know how far that goes. I don't think it's the same impact as Thiago Silva to the defense somewhat, because he came in at his prime, just finishing the Champions League final with PSG. Do you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But I agree with you there. We would probably improve them to some extent.
Hudson-Odoi say that Hazard helped him improve.
Yeah, he did.
So,
but again, this is Hazard back then, Hazard now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't.
This was Hazard 19-20. I mean 18-19, his last season. That was the Hazard that was helping him improve.
But now, but this is
you used to say that he won't.
So, but this is my thing. Will you be all right? So if we were to, who are you taking out of this team if you bring in Hazard? I'm guessing it's Pulisic, isn't it? You're selling Pulisic. Oh shit! Because the reason why I ask is because if you're bringing in Hazard or Sancho or Grealish, personally, I'm aiming for those two because I know they're expensive, but I think we can afford it. If we sell the players we need to sell, you should be able to wrap up enough funds. I mean, Tomori's already gone, so that's a quarter of the money there. Tammy's probably going to go. He's valued at 30-40 million minimum. Gone. Yeah. So my thing is, you can bring in Sancho or Grealish. If you sell the players you need to sell, you can build up the money.
Yeah.
Who would you get rid of out of our attackers to bring in this extra winger? Because the striker's not a problem because Giroud, Tammy, cool. But the winger, someone's got to go. So who you get rid of?
The thing is, here's what I personally believe is going to happen. I personally believe this club is mad enough to let Callum go out on loan. I feel like they're mad enough to let that happen to accommodate for two left wingers. They're mad enough to let it happen. At the end of the day, when it comes to the wingers on the left, we have limited options. We have a right winger who plays on the left. We also have a striker who plays on the left. And we have Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's actually a naturally left winger. So when it comes to left wingers, there's still a lot of space there for us to fill up anyway. So I don't think we will necessarily need to get rid of anyone to bring in an extra left winger personally. But I think the right wing options is where the problem lies. Now we've got the likes of Ziyech, we've got Pulisic, and one of them will have to cut. one of them will have to go. And obviously, the
No,
general.
Hudson-Odoi, you don't think Hudson-Odoi could go?
And that's why I just said, like, Chelsea's mad enough to let him go out on loan to accommodate two new left wingers.
This is the thing. I don't think Hudson-Odoi will go out on loan because I think his brother, his agent Bradley, I've watched a few interviews. He's done a couple interviews. He doesn't like the loan thing. Do you know what I'm saying? He's very much either you play him or we're leaving. Do you know what I'm saying? We're packing up and we're gone permanently. None of this loan shit. He doesn't. I don't think he really believes in that.
But then again, I look at it and I think, well, then why did you make him sign a new contract? You know, why didn't you let him go to Bayern Munich? He should have gone. He didn't. So all of that talk here, no disrespect to his agent and stuff, no disrespect to him at all, but all of that talk, it kind of gets pushed aside when you can see like a couple of years ago he had the chance to go to Bayern Munich, but instead he stayed. And the season after, you know, after his Achilles injury, he was still getting benched. I still getting benched this season, which is a problem. So the next step might be to send him out on loan, especially if there's not a club that wants to buy him. It's either you get sent out on loan, get your game time, or stay here, stay on the bench and waste talent. So it might be one of the two things. I would be really happy for Callum to stay and for Tuchel to develop him further. I'll be really happy. But if Chelsea are planning to get the two left wingers, then Callum Hudson-Odoi might have to be the person that gets sacrificed, but not as being sold, but probably as going on loan. That's how I would see it personally from a business perspective. But when it comes to the right wingers, someone have to get gone. Like they have to go. It's either Ziyech or Pulisic. One of them has to go because we need to make room.
Yeah.
You can't have three right wingers, especially one that's 28 and in their prime. The other one that's Pulisic, he's 22 and he's one of the best attackers we have at the moment. So one of them will have to either be the third choice winger, which no one wants to be, or one of them has to go. So it's going to be one of them two, and I don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It's probably going to be Ziyech because of the revenue that Pulisic brings in. They're probably most likely going to be Ziyech, but boy, I think they've been as bad as each other this season. So
all right. So for me personally, right, I think actually I'll go through the super chats and I'll answer it. Ola says this is pure nostalgia. When in relation to Hazard, I'm guessing. Rodrigo says, I don't have a logical explanation as to why we win on Saturday, but I just feel like we will. City are unbeaten in the Champions League this season. 100%. We're going to get onto that. Oil Boys is tomorrow at 10 p.m. people, for those of you who are asking as well. So that's going to be an interesting one. I definitely read out your former super chat, Rodrigo, and I got that one there as well now. So we'll talk about more Chelsea versus Man City on the Oil Boys tomorrow at 10 p.m. with Steve and Monstar, etc. Now, for me, this is my order. Okay, it's Grealish or Sancho. I don't really mind which one. I think they both represent different things. You're getting one in your prime, and then you get Sancho, who's more of a future, and his numbers will probably drop off from the Bundesliga. But I still have confidence he would be a very good player in his first season. But you'd have to temper your expectations because he's going to drop off a little bit in terms of his statistics. Grealish, I think, will come in, make that instant impact. I think he'd be a great signing. And then after that, if you don't get those two, I would take Hazard, but it would be a loan option to buy. I wouldn't pay for him. I wouldn't offer him an actual fee. I would just get a loan deal. So then you minimize the risk. However, I'm not really too keen on that. And I think we can do better. And I don't really foresee it as what we need. Because like I said earlier, I just think if you're going to bring him in, you need players that are already performing in the team ahead of him so he can be that impact sub. But we don't have players performing. So that's where the problem lies. Now, onto this as well. Hazard is an icon of the club, will be a mentor for the young guys, but I don't think he's a starter for us next season. If he comes, love my bro Hazard. I'll still bring him back home. All right, cool. Cool. Not a problem. Good super.
I think the problem is everyone kind of wants a fix as opposed to someone who can just sit on the bench for us. And I get it. Yeah. I understand the frustration. I understand that everyone wants someone who's going to come in and going to win us games and get us to get trophies and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I still think that Hazard can come in off the bench in some matches and change a game around. So time will tell, innit? If he does come, he does come. If he doesn't, it's not a gain or a loss to us, you know? It's not a benefit, it's not a loss to us. So time will tell.
I just personally think that part of that chapter is closed for me personally. Obviously, a lot of fans will take him back, but I don't know, man. It's very rare that players or managers or you know what I'm saying. This when it's emotional like this, it don't usually really work out too well. Do you know what I'm saying? And also
Henry.
That he scored against Leeds. That was about it. Let's be real.
That Leeds goal, though. Are you dumb?
But this is my thing. If Hazard was older. If he was older and he wasn't on these big wages and it was a proper backup thing and we were performing, I'd have no problem. But because this team don't need a bench player, it needs someone to kick someone onto the bench. That's the problem.
I think in a couple more seasons we'll all have it. Like we'll be like, all right, cool.
Yeah, 100%. And also, if I'm being completely honest, the way that modern football's going, the way that we look like we're going, we look like we want players up front with energy. Right? And Hazard, again, is he going to press that much? Like, you guys are talking about Hazard when Chelsea were defensive, apart from the Sarri season, and we was lopsided, and everything went through him, and he took all the challenges, and he skipped past everybody, and Willian was taxing us on the right. This is meant to be a Chelsea team that are more balanced, more progressive, more energy up front, hence why there's no Giroud. He wants pressing. He wants counter-pressing. Is that what Hazard's going to give you? Not really. So it has to be a bench thing. Really.
Hazard's never given that counter-pressing ability.
That's what I'm saying. So
never.
this is my issue. I'm really trying not to bring emotions into this. But if you're taking Hazard at left wing, you need to know that you are sacrificing something defensively. Are we going to do that again? Because we haven't done that in a while. Do you know what I'm saying? We're meant to be this, this team unit who press. That's why Chelsea is so good defensively, because they press from the front. They win the ball back in high positions. All that kind of stuff. Are we going to sacrifice all of that? Are we going to jump? Is he going to bring enough in the attack to sacrifice what we're going to lose in the defense? Because that's a lot of people in modern football forget this, but the attackers are there also for what they do off the ball to get ball back to help the attack. Do you know what I'm saying? To split defenses open quicker. That's why Gabriel Jesus has been playing for Man City and Aguero doesn't really play too much. Why? Because he's injury prone. Because he's not bringing enough anymore to the attack to sacrifice defensively. Do you know what I'm saying? So these are all things people need to look at before they start saying, oh, we're going to just bring back this brother because he's going to change the whole dynamic of the team and whatnot. Now, if I'm getting rid of someone, I'm picking Ziyech, personally. I don't want...
You didn't need to tell me twice.
Listen, I don't want him to go. I'm not going to campaign for him to go because, again, I feel like he should get a second season. However, if I'm picking someone, I'm picking him because I still believe in Hudson-Odoi. And I still believe in Christian Pulisic because they're both young. They're not in their prime. And I know they've got injury issues that they need to sort out. But I believe
they?
Huh?
Who's they?
Sorry, Pulisic's got...
Thank you.
Pulisic's got injury issues. And also, I can see that Tuchel seems to be very invested in Callum Hudson-Odoi. He seems to be. Like, all that coaching off the pitch and whatnot. Ziyech, not to his own fault, but he doesn't really look like he fits the system too much. Now, again, I didn't really want him in the first place, so it doesn't really make it easy for me as well to say, listen, I don't really want to keep you too much if we have to get rid of someone. And I feel like, again, I just think like what he brings in terms of, needing the most touches, needing to be a starter, having a high volume of, chances before he actually gets it right. He has to try it a lot before he gets what you want from him. Kind of like a Bruno Fernandes, but without the consistent output. That's not really what I'm going for. I always said I wanted efficiency in my wingers. That's why I wanted Sancho. So, yeah.
But the thing is, I still, to this day, don't understand the signing of Ziyech as a winger, personally. Like, I just don't understand it. I personally don't get it. Because I don't know if I'm talking out of my ass here. And I could be, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm still trying to understand the player. But he works so much better as an attacking midfielder. And I feel like that's where he thrives the most. And that's why all of these balls that we were seeing back when he was at Ajax, they just looked great and everything seemed to be landing and whatever. Like, I feel like he's in the wrong position. Huh?
That's because people were watching comps.
Yeah, but even when he played against us as well, bro.
Cool.
Best player on the
games. That's 2
miles.
games. And by the way, look at our defense. Look how they were moving. It wasn't exactly the example for attackers. Our defense was disgusting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you not, like, okay, everything aside, are you not a fan of him? Even, from before he came to Chelsea? Are you just not a fan of him?
I personally, I don't have no personal thing. You know what I'm saying with him? But personally, when it comes to me picking an attacker, I just didn't really think that he was going to be the guy. I wanted Sancho. And the reason is what we're seeing now. Yes, he can create chances. And we saw that in the comps at Ajax and whatnot. But what people didn't see, because they didn't really watch him consistently. They just watched the comps and they saw the goal against Valencia and they saw the ball against Bayern Munich where he switches the play and they saw the free kick against Chelsea. He has to do it a lot to get that out of him, right? So what do you need with a player that takes a high volume to get that kind of impact? He tries a lot to get that impact. You need to funnel the ball. You need to funnel the ball into him a lot. You need to give him the most touches. You need to give him a free role. And we're not going to do that.
That's the role of more or less an attacking midfielder. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you can get more efficient. You can get more efficient attacking midfielders.
That's the problem. Problem is, I think the problem is, right, Lampard. I think Ziyech was a Lampard signing, right? The problem with this is that I'm not sure if Lampard ever wanted Kai Havertz. If he did, he misused him wildly, but whatever. But Ziyech is more of a attacking midfielder in my eyes anyway. He's more of an attacking midfielder. Kai Havertz is an attacking midfielder, out and out, just an attacking midfielder. He can play up front as well, false nine, whatever. But that's the problem right now, because right now we have too many attacking midfielders, not enough people that are born and raised on the wing. And that's where the problem is lying. So kicking Ziyech to the curb here, I hear it, I understand it, but I just find it very sad because I just don't think we've seen the best of him. He hasn't been used to the best of his ability. And to be honest with you, I agree with you. I don't think that he can dwell in this Tuchel system that we've got going on. I don't think he can do it. And I don't think this Tuchel system requires a cam type of player. But hey, it's just quite sad.
He did it in the Champions League, but most of his games were in the Dutch league, right? And we know that Ajax are going to dominate that league. Yeah. So you're going to get touches. You're going to get more. You're going to get the time to keep trying your things. You're going to get the time. And I said when he was coming over here, when you have to adapt to the Prem first of all. You're not going to get the time and space as much as you do in Holland, and you're not going to get the same amount of touches because you're not at Ajax now. You're at Chelsea. So can a player like that handle not being at the epicenter of a team? Can he make the off the ball runs? Can he be that guy? Not really. He wants to be involved all the time. Is he good enough now? Is he world class? These are the questions you have to ask. Is he good enough to be the epicenter of the team? Is he Juan Mata? Is he Cesc Fabregas? No, he's not.
But the thing is, he hasn't been given a chance to do that.
But do you think he can be of that level of importance? I don't personally think he has that ceiling.
I personally think he does have the ceiling to do it. However, I just don't know if it can work with Chelsea. I think he has the ceiling to do it, just probably not at this club, because it's so difficult for me because I've seen what Ziyech can do. I've seen the passes he can do. I can see how he can create. But when he came to Chelsea, it was kind of like, like the first couple of games, he was really good and you can kind of see the outlet that he's going to bring to Chelsea and stuff. Fine. But then everyone was just getting misused and formations were going nuts and no one was making the runs. The through balls weren't happening. Nothing was happening with Chelsea at all. And then Ziyech trying to make all of these mistakes to make the right ball, the right pass. It's now looking like, why are you always making these mistakes? And really and truly, these mistakes are allowed to happen, especially when you're a cam. You know, as a cam, you get more life. You get more life to make these wrong passes. You get more life to make the right passes. So, like for every one pass you make, there'll probably be 2 passes that don't hit. You know, but that one pass that does hit should be, you know, the pass that gets buried. And let's keep it G. There has been some passes that from Ziyech that Werner hasn't buried.
I think every player in this team could go and make a PowerPoint slide about passes they've played to Werner that have not put it to the back of the net. I just think, right, if you're gonna have Kai Havertz, if you get a better striker,
I promise you, Ziyech, he'll bang. If we get a better striker, I think
this is why my
at the same time, if he wants to go, he can go.
This is why my prioritizing is with the striker, because our conversion rate is dirt. If you get a striker who's going to bag chances, then I'll judge these attacking midfielders a bit more. Because Mason Mount, for instance, he's getting a lot of heat right now. He's created a lot of chances this season. So people will take a look at his goals and assists and say, where is the assists? Well, the conversion rate is poor. If our top scorer is Jorginho with 7 goals, then that tells you where the chances are not being taken in the front line. So when you look at players' assists this season at Chelsea, I'm afraid you're going to have to take a striker tax on all of their assists, because Reece James has created chances, not as many as he did, I think, the season before, but he's created chances. Mason Mount's created a lot of chances, and they're not being taken. So you can see quite evidently that if the brothers up there with Bruno Fernandes and Grealish and all these guys for chances created in the Premier League, and then we have a conversion rate of what? Under 10%, under 2 in the Premier League, kind of obvious where the assists went. And it's not rocket science. I don't know why people are trying to overcomplicate it, because I had the same issue. And we're obviously moving on to something else now, but I don't understand how Jorginho stands and Mount stands are arguing about this, because it's either you man are pretending not to use your brains or what. I don't know, because you can see Jorginho did create a decent amount of chances under Sarri. You can go and look, but we had Morata not taking the chances. We had Higuain not taking the chances. So there you go. That's why you would say his assist didn't come up to the level that a lot of people are criticizing him for. What do you do? Mount has done this, similar in a higher position. He's created loads of chances, and it's very clear that Werner is probably missed the most big chances in Europe. And we can keep going. It's true.
Apparently, I was in the chat, and apparently it's actually Lewandowski who's missed the most chances in Europe. Apparently. But the person who said it is the Werner stan, so... Okay,
he probably lying.
He probably lying,
He probably lied. I ain't going to take that. Bro says, bring in Hazard. I don't want to sign young player this season. This team need experience and winners. Respect Hazard. He'll be back this Euros. Okay, cool. I get the whole winners thing. I get that. But if I'm being honest, I think we stopped winning when we lost Diego Costa, Fabregas, Matic, Terry left as well. That would be where I think we stopped, not after Hazard. I think we'd already dropped off just before then.
We won a trophy with Hazard in there.
We did. But I think this team would win that.
And then we also lost 2 finals. So
yeah, we lost 2 finals, and I think this team would win. I think this team would beat Frankfurt in the semi-final.
Yeah,
and I think this team would get to that. If you put this team in Europa League, I think they could win it. So it's not really the same thing. Zion says, love my guy Matisse, and you too, Anita. Big up yourself, bro. Let's see what's going on in this chat. So many people in here. Lewandowski got 41 goals. That's very true. Man, relax, bro. Ziyech will come good. Listen, I didn't say sell Ziyech. I said if I had to choose, I would sell him. But I don't really want to let him go, because I said I want to give everyone their second season. However, I did say he was a bit one-dimensional. I did say that before he signed. I know I took it too far, but I did say some things that are true. I didn't just give you all smoke. Of course, I gave some smoke because he scored against us and he crossed his arms in front of me at Stamford Bridge. But I did say some things that were true. I told you he was a bit one-dimensional, which is quite clear. He does resort to that one pass that he likes. You know what I'm saying? He's not shooting from range like you all thought he would be. Yeah, he scored a few goals, and most of the goals are actually in the box. They're not really long ranges, which is disappointing. And I did tell you he was going to frustrate you. And he is doing that quite clearly. He's not as efficient as a lot of people wanted to paint the picture. Now, I personally only think there's only one space in this team for a Kai Havertz or a Ziyech. I don't think they can both. I'm not too sure they can play together. I would hope so, because we bought them in the same window. But I don't know, man. Like they're both, the way that they move around the pitch, they like to move at their own pace, and I like that. But to have 2 people doing that.
The thing is, they both need time on the ball. We can't have 2 players in such a high pressing team to need time on the ball. So it has to be one or the other.
Yeah,
it's so sad. It has to be one or the other. But options, innit? I don't mind having options. I don't mind it. Maybe Ziyech likes the bench. I don't mind.
Yeah. Let's see.
Good today.
Matisse, yeah. So I read that one out. Someone saying criticize local players like Mason Mount and Billy over players like coming from other country. Well, Mason Mount's player of the year. and the signings that cost 50, 60, 70 million have underperformed. And I said why? Because they're in their first season or they're young. I've said that before, so I'm giving them that. They're young, they're in their first season. I'm giving their second season to improve. But what do you want me to really criticize with the player of the season? Like, he didn't play well the other day, cool, but he's still the player of the season. So there's a lot of other issues clearly under him. And by the way, he didn't choose to be player of the season. You know, maybe someone else Maybe someone else could have just performed better and then he would not have won that award. A lot of people are saying standards are in the gutter because Mason Mount won Player of the Year. I don't think Mason chose to be the best player in the team this year.
Don't the team choose Player of the Year?
No, it's the fans.
The fans. So what's the one where the team chooses the Player of the Year?
I don't know. Maybe that's Player of the Year. That would be it.
If he wins that, no one can talk anymore. Okay.
Yeah, but people are saying the stands are on the floor because he won. And I don't get that narrative because he didn't come in and say, right, I have to win this. He played, everybody played, and he won. So he could have been a rotational option if other people were better, but they won. So if he's a problem, then what does that say for everybody else below him this season who didn't perform as well? Maybe you can put Mendy, Silva, you can put a couple people on that level if you want. But what does that say for the rest of the team? Should the rest of the team who did not perform at the highest level for the whole season not be getting more stick than the person who won Player of the Year? Or am I crazy?
You're not crazy. You're spitting still.
Because I'm very confused as to how I'm gonna blame someone for winning Player of the Year. Like same with Kovacic. People got angry he won Player of the Year. Again, he was the most consistent when he won it. Is that his fault? Or is it the rest of the team's fault for not going above and beyond to be better than him so he couldn't win it?
I just don't understand. Even if we're picking out of a bad bunch, someone has to get picked. And if it's not Mason Mount for you, I don't know who else it could be.
If he's the best out of a bad bunch, then he's the best out of a bad bunch.
Like you've got to evaluate everyone.
Are in big trouble.
You've obviously got to evaluate everyone because if you're mad at Mason Mount's being picked, if you think he's the worst player that's being picked out of a bad bunch, look around them. Look around Mason Mount.
Gary, you spam this too many times, so I don't need to keep I've already read your thing. You don't need to spam it anymore. Or
what
Gary,
did he say?
He's saying, like I said, shame on you. You and Anita are a disgrace. Cool, because we're criticizing local players. We're not criticizing the local players, but we're criticizing the foreign ones. If you've been watching this channel, when Tammy was missing headers against Tottenham and we didn't win, did I not criticize him? So I do criticize the local players. Did I not criticize Reece James for giving the ball away in the FA Cup game?
Do we not big up Thiago Silva? Do we not big up
Thiago Silva?
Kai Havertz? Do we not big up Mendy, Jorginho? There was even one time I came on this channel, Matisse and Dan were pissing me off with this Jorginho agenda. Like they loved Jorginho. Did I not have Gab Marcotti
on here to wax lyrical about Jorginho and Pat Nevlin? Did I not do that?
Like, come on.
Do I really have this? Really? Does that make sense to you? I don't. Maybe you're not watching. Maybe you're not listening. Did I not? What?
Come on, guys. Let's not do that, guys. Come on.
Confusing. Do you know what I'm saying? Did I not? I'm pretty sure I was one of the only people really that I saw criticizing Reece James for that pass against Leicester because he's the reason we conceded. People wanted to stick it on Jorginho. So here's that foreign defending that you wanted. People wanted to stick it on Jorginho because he didn't catch Telemans. But we all know Jorginho's not fast. So why are we complaining now? The issue was we gave the ball away in an area where we couldn't recover from the transition. Then the goal goes in. Again, I didn't stick it on Kepa because he couldn't reach it. Cool. It's just never going to happen. I don't know. Maybe man are not listening, innit? It's up to you, innit?
It is what it is.
It's up to you, man, if you want to listen or not, innit? It's up to you. I really don't have time to have to be running too many agendas, innit? I really don't. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just want the team to win. ITES Merchant, get Danny Ings and Haaland 62 million next season.
I'm done. Is it true? Is that the whole Haaland thing? Haaland not leaving this season? Is that set in stone now? Is that real?
The chances definitely go down because
so they made top four
because they made Champions League. So and then I think I seen something on Lukaku saying that he Inter Milan have got some new investment coming in as well. So they're not as broke as they potentially could have been. They were quite broke. They were looking a bit flimsy. Now it's not looking like that. So we know Lukaku, we know Lukaku will probably like it there. He's with Conte, he just won Serie A. So I don't know who we're gonna get up front. I really don't. Danny Ings, for me, that's a backup option. It's much like the Aguero.
And it always will be.
Yeah.
It always will be. That will never change.
Yeah. It's
the same thing as saying that we should get Ollie Watkins or Patrick Bamford. Like, it's always going to be a backup option. It's so strange that we've gone from having so many options to the option now being we have to fight for Harry Kane. You know, we have to fight for him.
Well, listen, I don't even know if that's even realistic, if I'm honest.
We ain't getting Harry Kane. Like, I'm putting that in the dead and buried now. We're not getting Harry Kane. Levy will not sell to us. He will rather sell his children than sell Harry Kane to us. I promise you that. It's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem here. So when it comes to people like I've seen Luka Jovic in the chat on loan. I've seen Danny Ings. I've seen Watkins. I think all of these guys. I mean, personally, obviously Tammy's gone, right? So if you're replacing Giroud or Tammy, then these options, go for it if you want. I'm not really too bothered. But I still maintain we need a world-class, top-level striker going into next season. We have not had one since Diego Costa. Literally, it's really not good for a team not to have a world-class striker for that long and still compete in the positions that we are. Like, for us to finish 4th with only 7 goals scored from our top scorer, Jorginho, is laughable. I don't actually know how we managed to do it. That just goes to show how good the defense have been, because that's crazy.
I'm telling you, if Tuchel don't come in and fix this defense, we're looking at Arsenal, Fulham, and them, man. Like, that's where we're looking. We're looking at 10th, 11th, because boy, our defense has saved us this week. My sister and my dad are just shouting at each other, and it's kind of annoying me. Sorry. Anyway, listen, I don't think we're going to get a world-class striker this season. It's actually quite sad. I don't think we're going to get it. Someone said Lewandowski. Is Lewandowski actually leaving?
Again, I personally think he'll stay, and then I think he'll leave next season. If they get Haaland, they'll do that swap around quite nicely. That would work. So we are stuck for options here. We are, and this is why for me, if now you're going to be stuck for options up front, then that means you really should be splashing on the winger. You should really be getting a top informed
goal-scoring winger.
Goal-scoring winger, yeah. You should really be going for that. Do you know what I mean? You really should be. Because you've got the money, so it's not really a problem. Like I said on the stream with Dammy yesterday, I thought the whole team, I'm painting the whole team with the same brush. They all were all quite poor. I think Chilwell, maybe Chilwell probably was the best player out of everyone. Mendy didn't really do anything wrong either, to be honest. But everybody else, I'm not really into praising too many players when the performance against a Villa team that had nothing to play for, that we needed to beat.
That's what was pissing me off. Villa, win or lose, they stayed in their position. That's what really pissed me. No. That lighting was nice. What's wrong with you?
That was nice.
It was a nice light. You know them lighties on Instagram that take like them nice pictures. That's what you look like. Them Instagram lighties.
It was starting to go into, I don't know, man. It was starting to get into a weird lighting thing. I was like, I can't do this.
I'm dead. Nah, but everyone was bad yesterday. I can't pick a person who was worse than another. They were all bad, equally as bad as each other. I thought the match was awful. I didn't get to say what I thought about the match. The match was awful, and I wish I never watched it. I would have rather watched the Leicester and Tottenham match. I wish I watched that one instead, because Chelsea cannot keep breaking my heart like this. Chances upon chances. And at one point, we weren't playing a midfield,
Yeah, no, we wasn't. It was Reece James anchoring, and then Mount, Havertz, Ziyech.
Even Ziyech, drop him back.
It's very similar to when we had Gilmore anchoring, but obviously we needed a goal in it, so everybody was just gone. They were lock off. They were gone.
Depressing.
Yeah,
Depressing.
It was gone. Big up Monster in the chat. Oil Boys tomorrow. Yeah, people. It's gonna be big. Oil Boys. It'll be the final Oil Boys before the Champions League game, and then we'll be on the Sunday night thing as well afterwards. So that'll be mad. So yeah, that's gonna be where your Chelsea Man City talk is as well. But yeah, I just personally, I think we need to be really going for the top targets. When we talk about Lukaku, Harry Kane, Lewandowski, who I don't really think's available, but it is what it is. And Erling Haaland. After that, the names that are getting put in here, I'm not really feeling them. Again, Lautaro Martinez, I think he's more of a secondary striker, and I think we've already got one in Werner. So then why get another one? Do you know what I mean? Like, I need a ruthless goal scorer. That's what I need in this team. No more secondary strikers. I need someone who's consistently scoring up front, and if we can't get that, then get a consistent goal scorer from out wide. But preferably would be the striker. Yeah, preferably. Thank God we got UCR. Otherwise, those strippers in our midfield would get would still be stripping next season. Lord have mercy. I'm not going to say that.
Oh, come
and attacking strip out of my club. Anita, what are your thoughts on some of the? Because we've spoken about Mason Mount, right? And personally, I don't get all of the backlash he's getting right now on Twitter. I'm not really going to even give it too much notice because I just think it's again cults going up against each other. I don't really understand where the energies come from, but cool.
Yeah.
I think, again, Mount wasn't good against Villa, so criticize him, but he still won Player of the Year. I think he deserved it. So that's that. But what about Jorginho and Kova? Because they're getting a lot of heat right now. Kova, I don't really get too much because I know he didn't play great, but he just came back from injury. So I don't really know. I mean, what do you think? Because I don't really get why he's getting mad heat when he just came back.
The problem with Kovacic, he just came back from injury, fine. However, it doesn't excuse the mistakes that he was making. Even against Leicester on Tuesday, like last week, the mistake that led up to the goal, unforgivable. Like, come on, those were the type of mistakes that we gave Havertz a bullocking for. Like when Havertz will lose the ball like that and then conceded the goal, we'd give him a bullocking. So I don't see why Kovacic should have been given any other treatment. And he did the same mistake yesterday. The exact same mistake yesterday. Lost the ball and he was just really lucky. I can't remember who got the ball from him, but that person missed. He was just very lucky that he missed. Kovacic has been awful since coming back from injury. But I have missed him, though. Don't get me wrong. He's had awful bits and he's had really good bits as well. I have missed him.
I don't think was he that bad against Leicester? I don't think so. I think he made a mistake, which wasn't great. But I don't think he was poor for the whole game. I think he was worse yesterday. He was worse yesterday than he was against Leicester, in my opinion. 100%. Yeah,
he was way worse yesterday, but the mistake always clouds things. And when you see it as a reoccurring thing, so the mistake happens in one match, then happens in the match after that. It's just like that's where the frustration is going to now build up from, because everyone's thinking you just come back from injury, you have fresh legs regardless. You shouldn't be making those type of mistakes. Those are rookie mistakes. Like you getting brushed off the ball like that, rookie mistakes. And the fact that we can give Havertz a bullocking for it, Ziyech a bullocking for it, Kovacic is not immune from it either. Cool. Jorginho, I expect better from him. I expect a lot better from him. And the mistakes that he made yesterday, he single-handedly cost us the game yesterday.
I'm not going to say he cost us the game, because I think, again, I still think our main issue is these attackers, because we created a lot of opportunities in that first half. In my opinion, we were dominating. We had most of the ball. And we can see just before halftime, I think, isn't it, with Traore with the goal, because nobody was marking him. So that I don't know whose fault that was. And second half, again, we just didn't step up. But we created a lot of opportunities in the first maybe 20 minutes. We just didn't take them.
It's always going to be the attackers, that are not bare finishing their chances. That's something that's a norm right now. Everyone's used to that happening. They're always costing us the game. That's always something we're talking about, blah, 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 whatever. The game got killed for the penalty. That's when the game got killed. And that's when it was like a big ask. Are we going to score 3 goals? From that penalty moment, all you have to do, is just be calm, cool-headed and collected, And Jorginho, he just wasn't that in the penalty box, was he? Cost us the penalty. And that's how the game slipped away from our hands. Coming from 2-0 down is a much bigger ask for a team that cannot bury their chances than coming from 1-0 down. We've come from 1-0 down before, and we've managed to turn things around. But coming from 2-0 down, literally, once it was 2-0, Villa sat the hell back. They were barely attacking. Like some of their balls were not hitting anyone because no one was in our half of the pitch, because they knew 2-goal cushion. What's the harm, Even when it was 2-1, they still held their ground, still kept the defensive shape, and that's where shit got fucked up. So I get why fans are angry at both. I get where the steam is coming from. I get where the heat is coming from, and I don't think it's gonna go.
Do you think sometimes they're scapegoated though? Because it's not like they are. If they were the only poor performers, then cool. But the Mount was not good. He missed some key chances. Werner was not good. Pulisic was not good. Like I said, only for me, Chilwell really, I think had a solid game. Do you know what I mean? Nobody played well, and I understand now. I understand we can definitely improve on these players. They're not untouchable. So this is where there needs to be some balance on the TL. Kova cost 40, and I think Jorginho cost 57 million. So you from those two players, you'd want to be untouchable for that money, or we can still go ahead and go and improve, and they're not untouchable. But what I will say is if we are gonna, I've said this before, if we're gonna bring in someone in that midfield, I don't think it's a priority, but I think it's second priority after the striker. If we're gonna bring in someone in that midfield, they need to be able to do what those two guys do under the press. Obviously, in the last 2 games, my examples for them under the press is not good. They're giving the ball away, they're not in sync, and it's been poor. But usually, they're very good under the press. They can build out from the back. As long as we get someone who can do that, so we can still keep the ball under the press, because we like playing up from the back now, right? So that's important. And then they can do all the other things that they can't do as well. They're fantastic.
The player that you get in to do that? Who's the player that you get in to do that?
Listen, I haven't even got a DM target. There's loads of DMs out there. I like quite a few DMs, but I don't know who my nailed on target is. Outside Marquinhos, which is the dream, I don't have a nailed on target, to be honest. But I think we can't undervalue how important it is. I know we're missing things that people want. So you want maybe some physicality in midfield for the height, for not getting brushed off the ball when you're in transition. Right. Yeah. So like there's so many things that people are looking for here. Maybe some, I don't know. But we need to also appreciate that this team defensively were good with these two at one point under Tuchel. Not just the last week. I'm talking about since Tuchel's arrived. We was unbeaten. We was unbeaten, not conceding goals. And these two did play their part. Kante was injured as well at the start of Tuchel's reign, and Kovacic and Jorginho did play well. And then, people were like, how's Kante going to get back in this team? I said, Kante will get back in because someone's going to drop off and then he'll get back in. That's how it goes. But they have shown in this system that they can be good. But some people also say the reason why we play this system is because transitions, because physically they're going to get beat. Again, like I said, we can improve on this on these two, but we need to make sure that they can do what these two do in being press resistant and building out from the back. Because I feel like a lot of Chelsea fans now, they'll say if we don't have the ball, but we're defending well, they'll say, "Oh, fantastic." But if we have the ball, which is a way of defending, keeping the ball retention, that is sometimes a way of defending. But they'll say it's boring, it's sideways, it's backwards.
It's so funny because
it doesn't matter which way you defend. You can defend with the ball, and you can defend. That's the narrative that very much happens in English football. It doesn't really happen anywhere else. You can defend with the ball or without the ball. If we're keeping the ball for 5-10 minutes and we're not really going anywhere, what's the difference between doing that and we're 1-0 up and you're saying it's boring Chelsea, sideways, backwards? What's the difference between that, where everybody's taking a breather and thinking about their next move? What's the difference between that and defending 10-15 minutes in the box, low block, under pressure? What's the difference? There's no difference. It's a narrative. It's a narrative that's created.
I'd really prefer us to have the ball than to be, my heart to be pumping when we have to defend like in the box.
Because in English football, if you're defending low block for 15 minutes and you're putting in blocks and slide tackles there's shouting going on, if that's happening, it's these guys are great, but they can't keep the ball. But that's great. We're defending well, 1-0 Chelsea, shithousery. But if you keep the ball and you win 1-0 and you've had loads of possession, then it's boring. But you still didn't concede. This is the mindset that we got in English football. This is why English football is behind. Simple. This is why the English national team has been behind your Spains and whoever else you want to go through. This is why. Because
you're hitting everyone with the jugular right now, huh?
I'm doing it because this is the reason. This is the reason. Pirlo wasn't going around. I'm not saying they're not on Pirlo's level. Players like Pirlo would be getting dragged up and down. Obviously, Pirlo's got way more to his arsenal. Great passer, free kick taker, all these things. But if Pirlo wasn't running around slide tackling and shouting, like, man, then we'll be going nuts around here. Do you know what I'm saying? We need to appreciate both sides of the game. And this is why I would like well-rounded midfielders, but they have to be able to do what these guys are doing also. You can't tell me that these guys don't do anything, because if you're saying that to me, you're either you're running an agenda or you didn't watch the games where we beat Real Madrid and Jorginho won the most interceptions or tackles or whatever happened in that game with Kante, or you didn't watch our away win to Liverpool at Anfield, or you didn't watch Tuchel in the unbeaten run. So you can't tell me these guys don't do anything. You can't tell me they don't do anything, but you can tell me that they don't have enough in terms of the whole package, and we need to make it more well-rounded. You can tell me that, and then go and pick out a player that can improve. Cool, that's not a problem. But when people start saying, "Oh, they don't do anything," and then start going and abusing them in Instagram comments when there's a Champions League game in a week's time that you need them to play,
that's ridiculous.
It don't really make any sense, Chelsea fans, right? You can be angry, you can want improvement. These guys are not untouchable. We've had way better midfields. Mikel, Ballack, SCN, I can keep going. But there's a line that you don't need to cross. And when man them are abusing them in Instagram comments and whatnot, whether it's Mason Mount, Reece James, who had to come off Instagram, or Jorginho, I'm going to tell you the same thing. I don't need to tweet, but I'm going to tell you the same thing. Don't make no sense. It really don't. Because these brothers, now, if they go win Champions League on Saturday, you're going to be all over them. Do you know what I'm saying?
You're going to be up their ass.
Exactly. You're going to be up their ass. So it doesn't really make any sense, in my opinion. That's why I don't really call nobody an Italian stripper. At the end of the day, we know his limitations. We know that he's not quick, and we know he's not good in transition. We know that. That's his limitations. But most players have limitations.
So people are saying Joshua Kimmich, you lot, let that dream die.
That's not going to happen.
Never going to happen. Never going to happen. We'll probably get Marquinhos before we get Joshua Kimmich. I'm going to tell you that for free.
Matthias, we're going to wrap up soon. Matthias came in late. He said, just hopped in. Sorry, you need a glass leg Pulisic or Agent Hazard. Which one do you choose? Kovacic doesn't play badly and was just getting fouled behind. I think she chose Hazard in the end. Is that right?
For what? What's the question?
For Pulisic or Hazard? Who you chose Hazard in the end, isn't it? Yeah, she did. How was there no debate on the pen on the TL yesterday? What, in terms of you didn't think you thought it wasn't a pen? I don't know. I personally think it was a pen. Like he stuck his leg out. If you stick your leg out and someone trips over it, it's a pen in it. Like
that was 100% a penalty.
Yeah, it's just a bit.
1,000%.
Yeah, that's really just how it goes, isn't it? I can run past Jorginho and top score, top corner SMH. Put some respect on our top scorer this season. That's something. That's a line. That's a line people are going to be using next season a lot. Put some respect on our top scorer's name from last season, even though we damn well know it was just penalties. Mount has been on a bad run of form. He's not even making top scorer assistant for our team, but our player of the year, Mendy, is considered top 3 goalkeeper in Europe. Well, I mean, who considers him top 3 goalkeeper in Europe? Where did that stat come from? Not disagreeing or agreeing. I just don't know where that stat. Yeah, I don't know where that stat came from. He's been great this season, though.
Neuer.
I don't know if he's top 3. Though. I haven't thought about that. I don't know if he's top 3 in Europe. Maybe. I mean, he's been good in Champions League. Maybe. I don't know though.
Maybe.
But again, we just spoke about this in terms of, obviously, I know you're late. We're going to wrap up soon. Top assister. You can't get loads of assists if the people don't score, right? And you know we have a goal scoring issue. Our top scorer has 7 goals, and all from the penalty spot. I'm just doing basic logic. And then if Mason Mount creates the second most chances in the Premier League behind Bruno Fernandes, but then you're saying he didn't get enough assists, why was that? Because we didn't score. Why was that? Because we're missing big chances. Why was that? Because the attackers are not good enough. Case closed.
No one ever really wants to talk about Mason Mount's creative side because he's not creating the way that people want him to create, and everyone just needs to cut that out. At the end of the day, he's creating. No one is getting on the end of all of the chances that he's creating. It's not his fault. Like Matisse said, like if he's the second highest player that's creating chances, what more do you want him to do?
Now the finishing can improve 100%. Now, the finishing against Aston Villa, missed some big chances. And his finishing in the box has been a bit erratic at times. So I think he finished on 6 Premier League goals. You can definitely do better than that. You can definitely hit double digits. So that your shooting is your responsibility, but assists is a team. You need someone to finish. So if no one's finishing, you can't really get that many assists. So the two problems go hand in hand. So that's really what I'm saying on that.
Someone said Masunda's coming back.
Masunda's coming back.
Guy, man.
Masunda's coming back, man. Listen, when it comes to Masunda, if I'm being honest, I just think he's building up his fitness. And then after that, I think he's gonna get a move and settle down. Same with Van Ginkel, innit? Like these guys just need to play first team football. They can't come and do this. They just need to play first team football.
I remember Van Ginkel, man. We had so much hope in that guy. Bless him.
We did.
Bless him.
Well, but at the end of the day, it just didn't work out. Like, brother, we don't need we need players who are fit. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what we need right now. And then what we don't need is someone
people still want Pulisic, but okay. We need playing too much of it, but we're all still here for Pulisic. Fine. Whatever. Pepe has more goals than him. Pepe.
Yeah, but is that in all comps?
Maybe.
I've said this before. Pepe's been playing against. Oh, Pepe's been stat padding a couple games now in the last couple of matches. But
regardless, he still has more goals.
But I'm just saying, who's he been playing against in the Europa League? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, this is in the Premier League, sweetheart. We all play the same teams, sweetheart. We all play the same teams, more or less the same number of matches as well. They played. Just saying. In fact, let me even check if Pulisic has more minutes.
Listen, I'm gonna wrap up soon.
It's not an agenda, guys. I'm just letting you guys see the light.
Yeah. He got... No. I'm just reading the chat. Because we're gonna wrap up soon.
Let's see.
Well, listen. Like I said, there should have been some respect on that guy's head. I'd start Werner Pulisic Mount against.
Pulisic just played more minutes. Just saying.
At first, I heard Havertz over Pulisic, but I'm playing the counter-attack suits that lineup. I've already said, listen, when it comes to Pulisic, I think next season you really gotta stamp your. Now you're like, listen, you gotta really come now with the goods, and I'm talking about show some consistency in your fitness and put up some decent numbers now, because otherwise we are gonna have to start looking around, because this club really don't really wait for no one, if we're being honest. And that's not even just coming from me. That's just what I expect the club to do. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not just gonna just allow Mandem to just keep going through these seasons where they're not really consistent. It's just not gonna happen. JP says, I'd start Werner, Pulisic and Mount against City. At first, I'd have Havertz over Pulisic, but I think playing the counter-attack suits that lineup. Okay. Interesting. I'm still not sure on my front three, but I definitely will decide it for the All Boys tomorrow. TikTok pen for Big Steve. Oh my goodness. Steve is waiting on the Big Six at 10. This is going to be interesting. TikTok is right. Sorry, bro. Apologies. The chat is going crazy. If you want to put it in again, we're going to wrap up soon. But if you want to put it in again, just normal. I'm looking out for it now. StreamYard is very annoying with this chat. They can't let you scroll up to the top. The chat.
I don't think no one super chatted about Charlie.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't see anything in it. So that's
no, you didn't miss that. That didn't happen.
So yeah. But in terms of Charlie Masondo, I don't think that's realistic.
Everyone should let that
anyway.
die.
I mean, Anita, listen, what was your final thoughts of just the Premier League season as a whole after ending it like that? We reached top 4 and we lost. Bittersweet. How did you feel before we wrapped up?
All I can say is phew, because if we didn't beat that fight at top 4, yeah, hey, I'm telling you for free, the corn I would have received would have been disgusting. So big up Tottenham. Come on. Actually, I'm not even going to say COYS still, but big up Tottenham. But it's always fuck you forever. Fuck you, Tobes, as well, fam. Big up Tottenham there. They proper did us a favor of the Conference League and that. I hope they win the Conference League just for doing us a favor. But if I'm honest with you, this season has been, in the Premier League personally, it's been a roller coaster. I'm happy we managed to get top 4, considering where we were when Frank Lampard left us, where we were 9th, hitting 10th. Like, we've come a long way in it, so I'm happy we got top 4. I just feel like there's too many potholes that need to be patched up in our team, starting with the strikers, then going to DM, and then going to our wingers. People are looking at the wrong thing. There are so many people that want a defender, another centre back. How defensive do you want us to be? We have 4 centre backs, and we have 5 centre backs, and it's like they're not bad centre backs, they're not bad choices. So that's the last thing that we should be thinking about. So please, let's just get us a striker, let's get us a goal scoring winger, let's get us a DM, and let's move forward, innit? If we win the Champions League, which I highly doubt we will, I'm gonna tell you guys that from now. I highly doubt we will win that Champions League.
Not too confident now.
I'm not confident at all, because winning the Champions League is all about companionship. It's all about having that chemistry, having that compadreship, and we don't have that. They're not boys, you know, like they're not a family. When you win a Champions League, you have to do it as a unit. And Man City have been wanting this for so much longer as a unit than we have. When we talk in terms of the players that they have, so the collective of players that they have, they've been wanting it longer than we have. So I won't be surprised if Man City, all of that, you know. Oh, thank you, Victor. All of that passion shows on the pitch, and they come out and give it their absolute all. But someone told me to speak blessings into our boys. So in the name of God, we will win somehow. In the name of God. But I won't be surprised if we don't. So I'm not going to put all my money on it, innit? But yeah, it's been a decent season overall. Not entirely happy with how things ended, especially because Liverpool, we managed to let them creep up in front of us after their woeful season. So a season to forget for sure. But
yeah, unless we win the Champions League, then it will be a.
If we win the Champions League, then of course, like
then it's a different situation. But in terms of
the
Premier League campaign, I must say I'm getting quite sick and tired of the top 4 race now.
Yeah,
it has shown that we have declined over the last few years in terms of just battling for top 4 every season until the last day when we used to be challenging for titles. So we need to fix that, and we need to fix the main issues in the team. People, listen, I'm going to wrap up. Oil Boys is on tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'm going on to Big Six now in 20 minutes as well. As always, listen, really appreciate all the support on the stream today. Loads of people watching, and got up to like 700 at one point. I hope this has sufficed for your hazard debate. You know, you got 2 sides to the story. Really appreciate again all the super chats, everybody that's been sending that in. Much love to you guys. You're really helping out there. And yeah, listen, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a little break before I go on to the next show at 10. I'm gonna probably have to battle people for the nonsense that my team put out.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay strong with me if you're watching that. Smash the like, subscribe if you're new as well. And I'm just looking forward to the Champions League content that's coming up, people. Do you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be doing a watch along. Your first watch along on this channel.
Are you actually?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a watch along. I'm gonna do a watch along for the Champions League final.
I don't know how you can do that in the final. I don't know how.
We're going to get it done. I feel like, you know, everybody, you know, like I said, the viewers have been great. They've been sticking with us through this long period of no videos as well, which I can't wait to add that back to the schedule for the summer. So no better way to do a watch along than for the biggest game. It's going to be peak. My emotions are going to be high. It's going to be rough. Yeah. We're going to get it done. So yeah, big up yourselves. And yeah, I'll see you at 10 if you're watching the Big Six. If you don't know what the Big Six is, by the way, I'm adding it to the playlist. If you go on my channel, you'll see playlists. Big Six is in the playlist, and then you'll see the shows that I'm in. I'm in most of them. Sometimes I can't make it, but I'm in most of them. I add it to the playlist, so you can watch it there. And I'm going to do that with all the collabs that I'm doing during the week, all the weekly shows. So yeah, big up yourselves. Much love, and I'll chat to you in a bit. Make sure you go and subscribe to Gold Diggers. Yeah, link is in the chat. Make sure you go and follow Anita. Link is in the description on Twitter. In a bit, people. And also, I hope you like the shirt. It just came.
That's actually a really nice shirt. I was gonna say that's really nice.
Yeah, I like it. Really nice. It just came. I thought I might fling it on. A bit old school.
Really nice.
Yeah, I like it. I just need to go to the gym now.
Listen, I'm gonna get one of them F1 bomber jackets because they look sexy, fam. Can't wait.
In a bit, people. Peace.